in the news for March 27th, 2026. We're here together.
I know.
I'm Brett Birdie from Apps and Law. I can even say your part because I know we're together.
We're together. This is Jeff Richardson from iPhone JD. We are in lovely Chicago.
Beautiful. We can see the skyline here. I wish we could turn it around, but we're looking
cool.
at the skyline, all lit up. It's a little bit later at night because we're recording this late at night. We've been at the TECHSHOW, ABA TECHSHOW conference all day.
And my room in this hotel is basically in the basement. But you have a very nice room because you were the co-chair of this year's ABA TECHSHOW.
They have the suite up here. We have the lake over on the side. We're looking at the skyline of Chicago. It's very nice. It's pretty cool.
We just finished the first day of the conference. Tomorrow is the second day of the conference. It's been fantastic. I mean, there's so many great sessions. It's been the latest technology. I mean, obviously AI is everywhere, but other things too. The enthusiasm's been great. I've met so many fantastic people from around the country, around the world. I mean, international people.
I know. It's we are tracking like the largest conference, like attendee wise.
Congratulations.
People come. It's been great, and we have a whole day tomorrow. Next door to the Chicago Comic-Con, I know we've talked about this, but you see they're already setting up. We have seen people come in with like costumes
it's the
and
C2E2 Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, but it's basically the Chicago version of Comic-Con. And as I was walking back from the sessions today, Brett, I ran into these very lovely young ladies that had ears, pointy ears.
Oh, like
I don't know what
elf ears.
It was sort of an elfish.
Well, you know.
And and then some other people had like a cape. And this was the night before the conference. What are we going to see tomorrow? It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be pretty crazy.
I will tell you this. Yeah. It's very easy to tell the difference between the attorneys at TECHSHOW and the Comic-Con attendees. There's really not a lot of crossover. It's very clear which conference they're here for.
It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Fun,
We have a whole day tomorrow of the educational sessions. And we have
I'm doing 2 sessions tomorrow.
I know you are. Mm-hmm. I know we packed you into the Friday. And then tomorrow, at the end of the day, is our second keynote, which I'm pretty excited about. Nilay Patel of The Verge, who you and I talk about.
We talk about him all the time. I know.
His reviews and stuff, and he's going to be here. I'm very excited about that.
Former Chicago IP attorney, then went on to Engadget, and then started The Verge, and is now like one of the key members of the tech press.
I got to see some of his slides, and we were talking about it today, and I'm even more excited about his presentation.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be good.
Okay, well, let's talk about some of the news of the week. So what's in the news?
There's several things. Well, just this morning, actually, before we jumped into the conference, we have been talking about iOS 26.4, right? We've been looking for it. We talked about this last week, mostly because of the new emojis. But there were several things, and I upgraded all of my devices this morning, or maybe it was a couple of days ago. Everything went great. It didn't take very long. I like these point updates that they do. And I remember specifically, one of the other things we talked about after I finished upgrading it, I opened the music app, and sure enough, it popped right up. It's like, we can find concerts for you right now. That was one of the things. So I said last week that this has been in Spotify for a while, almost to the point of annoyance at some points, because it's like, I just want to listen to the band. I don't need to know that they're going to be, within 50 miles and doing a concert. Although sometimes that is cool to do. But I saw it pop up in the Apple Music app today as part of 26.4.
Very cool, very cool. Some other interesting features is you can now have changes to the payment methods in a family group. And I will tell you, this one comes home for me because I have a family group, right? Me and my wife and my 2 kids. And what it means is anytime somebody purchases an app or something like that, it's all used to the same credit card, which is my credit card.
Which means the Apple credit card, probably,
which is my Apple credit card, exactly, because I get 3% back. And but it is, when my kids were little, of course I wanted to know if they were going to purchase an app, right? Because or do in-app purchases. But nowadays they're getting older, at some point. But then my wife, I don't need to know that she's buying an, I mean, it's fine. It's not like we have any secrets from each other. But so this is interesting. Like, if I understand the feature and I haven't done it yet, she will be able to put it on her own credit card and just like, come on. I mean, I want to be in a family with her for all the other purposes of the Apple sharing features, but I don't need to see her purchase history. She doesn't need to see my purchase, or I guess she doesn't really see mine because I'm the primary card holder. So that's a change that's coming. I haven't implemented it yet. And then we talked last week about that improved accuracy when typing. It's not a problem that I've had, but I've heard people say this, that if you type too fast, The keyboard doesn't keep up, and they fixed that, so that's good.
So they did fix it in 26.4, because I thought I saw something that maybe that they were waiting, but I'm so curious to hear people that had the issue to verify that it's actually fixed.
Haven't read it yet, but
I know that Apple says they fixed it, but I want to know the people that have actually been having the issue and they've been, been challenged about it. So I'm anxious to see that maybe next week people will start covering that now.
There you go. And then some ancillary things too, because with the no iOS, you got some CarPlay changes.
Yep.
Some minor ones, like it says it's support for AI voice assistant apps, which I think means, I haven't tried this out yet, but I think it means like, I don't know, like a ChatGPT app or something like that. You can use those voice assistants in CarPlay. I haven't tried it yet, but I know that's a feature. There's some minor changes for the Vision Pro system, the Vision OS 26.4.
Did you update yours?
I did update it, but I haven't. Many of the features that they've changed, I'm not going to see them right away. Like one of them is something called, here's a little techie thing, but it might be an interesting topic. It's called foveated streaming. And what foveated streaming means is when you think about, and this is not just a Vision Pro, this is like the future of all these interactive, if Apple makes glasses in the futures or whatever like that, your eyes are only looking at something that's right in front of you. You know how people talk about seeing things, in your peripheral vision to the side.
Right.
And so they noticed when they did the Vision Pro, Apple noticed that you only need to have the highest quality image right in the center part. The stuff to the side doesn't have to be as high quality. And why does that matter? Because it means you don't need the bandwidth, and it means that you can have streaming video. So Apple's own videos are sort of smart enough to do this foveated rendering that where you're looking is perfectly crisp, but to the stuff to the side doesn't need to be, so it's not. And so as I understand the change, they've now made that something that developers can use.
Yeah.
And what it basically means is that
I'll
developers...
go get the light.
Yeah.
You just keep talking.
I'll keep talking. It means that developers can be more efficient with their streaming. And for people listening to the audio version, we're in a room that has these lights that go off if you don't move in every 2 seconds or something like that. So anyway, some complicated stuff that they've done, and they've also, so this is a fun one too, I just have to say, because I think it's so cool that Apple does this. There is an improvement in the Vision OS to spatial audio that when the Vision OS, it understands the rooms that you're in for visual purposes, because I can put a clock on the wall or I can do things like that, but also for audio purposes. So it will make things bounce off the walls just as if it was a real object in your room. And so the new change is now your Vision Pro can recognize, oh, this is Jeff's living room. I've been here before. I already know the spatial audio of this room, and I can be that much fast. I can be that much faster in making sure things sound right. Am I sophisticated enough in my hearing to notice the perfect audio
But now you know it's there.
But now it's going to be there even faster. So it's like, it's a geeky detail that like the people at Apple, kudos to you for figuring this out. I'm sure it makes a difference, but like this shows how detail-oriented they are. But anyway, so those are some of the changes that have come out in Vision OS.
So I always ask this. I think it's safe to say we've only been working with 26.4 for maybe a day or two. I don't have any hesitation to tell people like it's worth doing the upgrade, because we had that background security update that they had, right? But I think that they added some additional security patches and updates in 26.4,
yeah, in fact,
or maybe improved upon it or something like that.
I didn't link to it in this week's post, but there's something like 25, 35 improvements. There's quite a few of them.
To me, that's like no question. But do the upgrade on that.
The real way I know that you're right is, and we say this every year, we said it last week, when Apple updates the emoji, that's the way of saying it's safe for everybody. Because they know so many people don't even pay attention to iPhone updates. But then if their friend texts them something and they get a black box, they're like, oh, I better update so I can see what that black box is.
So I can see what that is.
So Apple gave this the thumbs up by putting the emoji in this release.
Well said.
And that makes me give it the thumbs up too,
Speaking of Apple, so now we had the new update, we got a date for WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference. Now, we're not developers, but we're always excited about it because we know there is at least one public keynote address where they like roll things out. It's typically the next version of the operating system. Right? If nothing else, because we know that that's where some of those announcements are going to come in, just because that's the audience that they're developing. It's a developer audience that they're doing there. Now, sometimes they'll do a couple of hardware things, but it's mostly on the software side. Yeah,
so the date of it is June 8th. June 8th.
Yeah, I think June 8th. Yeah.
And last year...
Is that a Monday? I'll double check.
I'm sure that is.
Yeah.
And last year, was a change because last year they decided to call the next version of the OS iOS 26.
Yes.
The idea being that it comes out at the end of 25 and it carries over 26.
Yeah.
So I just have to presume that what they're going to come out with this summer is going to be called iOS 27.
Right.
It will be announced in June 8th, as you just said.
Yep.
It will presumably come out, I'm going to guess September. It pretty much always comes out in September. And then between September of 2026 through the summer, or really through September 2027,
Right.
that will be the current version of the operating system. And whenever you have the big number, presumably it means big features.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been saying this for 2 or 3 years now, but will iOS 27 be the one that we see significant new AI features? I mean, we know that Apple has the deal with Google Gemini, right? So we know they're going to want to incorporate that. I seriously doubt we'll see it between now and June. I would hope that it's ready enough that we'll hear about it on June 8th.
I hope so.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because it was the infamous WWDC 2024.
2 years ago.
When they made all the announcements on AI, and we are still waiting
overpromised and
some of those.
underdelivered, which Apple hates to do. So,
okay, so and then just real quick on, you talked about iOS 26. They leaped from iOS 18 to 26, but they also made sure that all of the other Mac OS, iPad OS, TV OS, Watch OS was all matching because we had different numbers of the versions that they were at.
Yeah.
So everything got matched to the number 26.
Yeah.
So presumably, everything will match the number on 27, which I kind of look back now when they first announced it, I'm like, is that going to be a little too confusing? Looking back now, I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. I got to say, personally, I think it's nice that everything is the same. We know what the year is. We don't have to was that last year? Was that 2 years ago that you had WatchOS 8 or 9 or something like that?
I'll give you an example of that. I will sometimes run into like a family member that haven't updated their phone in forever.
Right.
And they are on iOS 6. I don't even know. I'm going to say 16. And like my brain, when was iOS 6? I don't remember when that was.
Yeah.
But now, in the future, when someone is on, I'm on 2020, I'm on iOS 26.
Right.
I'm like, you're still on iOS 26? That came out in 2025, which is 2025,
for 2026.
Just before 2026.
It's like the new car analogy.
It's like the new car analogy.
That's what we talked about.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, you had something else I think that we mentioned about the Apple Maps app now. I think we may have mentioned this before, where they are now going to put ads in the Apple Maps, and I feel like everybody that you say that to has the same gut reaction like I did. I'm like, why? Like, I don't want you to throw ads into my Apple Maps. But I think it was John Gruber that you linked to.
It was
actually
Wes Hilliard.
Wes Hilliard. Okay.
In my mind, ads in the Maps app, I'm like, seriously, this is going to junk it up. Who wants this? This is going to be a pain. And Wes has a good argument. I mentioned this in the post. He's like, remember the old Yellow Pages? I'm old enough to remember what a Yellow Pages are. You are too.
I do.
And like, if you're looking to hire a plumber, yes, you would turn to the Yellow Pages to plumber, but you only pay so much attention to the people with the individual small type entries. What you really look at is the ads, right? And like, if a plumber has a full page ad, then I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good plumber. And if he has a half page ad, you pay attention because they're at least established enough for that.
Right.
Or, I mean, I will also admit there was a day back in the day when I would get magazines like, all the tech magazines because I enjoyed looking at the ads. So, I mean, you don't want to be totally, again, we're in an age of the internet where ads, they jump at your face and you can't get them off the screen and it's autoplay videos and it's horrible.
Yeah.
But his point is there is a way to do tasteful and helpful ads.
Helpful. I like the helpful
And his prediction is Apple hopefully has the good taste to do it. I hope he's right.
But I hope he's right too.
Here's my counter to him. You use News Plus, Apple News Plus, like I do too. When you read an article on Apple News Plus, you're reading articles and then there's an ad. And it's a stupid ad. Then you have another paragraphs and it's the same ad.
I know.
And a few more and it's the same ad. And I'm like, give me a break.
I'm right with you.
Whoever is doing the ads in Apple News Plus, if they're the people doing the ads in Maps, oh, mama.
It's not going to be good.
It ain't going to be good.
No.
It ain't going to be good.
But I think about that because I'm like, I'm paying for news. Like, why are you throwing so... I'm okay with maybe one or two, but I hear you. It's the same ad. And then it's like a picture, and it's like, is that the picture that goes with this story? Okay, anyway.
But time will tell. It hasn't been implemented yet. I don't know when it's going to happen.
We'll see what that looks like.
But Apple has told us it's coming soon.
If you have a Samsung phone, you might start getting some AirDrop requests pretty soon, right? I know that I've heard about this before, or there's been rumors that this was going to happen, that Samsung phones were going to support it, or maybe the other way around.
So the reason you've heard about it, Brett, is because about a month or so ago, I forget when it was, at some time in the recent history, Google announced that they had figured out.
Okay.
They figured out Apple's AirDrop format.
Yeah.
And they backward engineered it, and they figured out a way to have Google phones, like the Google Pixel Android phone, could work with AirDrop. And
the Google phones.
My understanding is that Apple was like, what? But the tech people that have figured out says whatever they did, they figured out in a way that they don't think that Apple can work around it because it would actually destroy the AirDrop system. And so it may continue to work. And so now the announcement that was this week is that Samsung, which of course is the market leader in Android, they've announced that they're going to have it too. And you know, I have to say, I hope that, I mean, you know that Apple could do something to fight back, but I sort of hope they don't. Yeah. Because you and I know how useful it is, especially here at a conference.
Absolutely.
You want to share something with someone, you know, you could text them a picture, but sometimes it changes the quality.
Email it.
AirDrop is such an easy way to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I encounter a friend using a Samsung phone, and it would be nice to AirDrop them.
Just to send it that quickly.
So
that would work, yeah.
We will see whether this is something that works for a month and then Apple figures out some way to mess it up. But I'm sort of hopeful that Apple says, you know what, we may not officially support this, but we won't actively break it. That's my hope. We'll see. That's my hope.
One of my favorite apps we've talked about several times is Flighty. I do a little bit of travel, and so having, well, usually we would have like a flight tracker, like Flight Radar or a couple of those. We talked about TripIt as a way to like keep track of your flights, and if you get the pro version, you have some alerts on things. Since I started using Flighty, which has got to be at least 2 years now, because I know I have paid for the pro version, it has just been fantastic. And even my family now, they don't. I didn't get a family version of Flighty, but they can still get a free version and track my flights, which is nice because they don't have to like ask where I am or anything like that. Well, they just announced a new. I think they call it. Is it the Airport Intelligence? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Which at first you're kind of like, what? But this is cool because if it shows and tracks your flights. But this Airport Intelligence can actually tell you, and so I pulled it up here, so I updated it here. It'll tell you, like we're in Chicago as we're recording this, so it tells you at Chicago O'Hare, high cancellations, ground delay, and strong winds, because we've been having some weather today. It's been rainy out there. But I just like the fact that it talks about you can search airports, and it kind of gives you an idea of what's happening at that airport.
And not only what's happening right now, but one of the things that they advertise, and I have a chart of myself, is that they can actually forecast airport delays based upon all the data that they pull together.
That's sort of the AI that they
what's
pull
going
into
on
that.
with the AI to it, and it sounds pretty cool. It does. But I tell you, Flighty always gives me great insights. It's really cool. It often has that feature that says like, your plane has arrived, and I know that some airlines have that feature buried in their app if you find it. But for Flighty, it's always just right there.
I'm gonna go get the light again. You keep talking.
And so I was flying here to Chicago. In fact, when I flew to Chicago, Brett, it was in the middle of all the TSA nonsense.
Yes.
And, there had just been a report that the New Orleans airport was one of the worst in the country with 6-hour delays for TSA.
Oh my
so I got to the airport super early.
Goodness.
Turned out it was fine on Wednesday morning when I was there. But, things like that, Flighty app, knowing when flights change, making sure what's going on, getting suggestions. It's a really great app, and it does. I forget what it costs. It's not cheap, but if you do travel enough, it's a great app, and I love that they keep coming out with new features.
Absolutely,
and this is their new one. So.
I think it's now. I want to say it's either $50 or $59 a year.
It's worth it though.
That's just single. That's not. It's a little bit more if you want to get a family version on that.
But for what the value it gives you and the peace of mind and the information, and plus it's so easy too. I mean, as I'm walking from one, I land in Atlanta and I'm going to my next flight, and I know that the Delta app, which I was flighting on, has some of this too, but Flighty is just so nice. All the information's right there. I can look at my watch, see what gate I'm going to, see how much time I have. It's everything that you as a traveler would want to know. It's got, and now it's got even more with this new feature.
And the live updates. That they were one of the first to have those live updates on the screen.
You can
now
see where your plane
most
is.
apps will, like most airline apps, will have some of that. Because I have both United that'll pop up and Flighty on there. But Flighty historically has always been a lot more great information. So anyway, good update. And if you're already subscribing, it gets added into that, which is good.
Cool stuff.
We've been at TECHSHOW. let's take a pause. You, my friend, have been walking around the show and grabbing folks that, make sure you get you got their agreement, and they have been sharing some great little interviews with you. I'm just so thankful that you've been walking around doing this.
I've seen you today, Brett. You've been so busy behind the scenes, running the show, making sure that the well-oiled machine runs. And sometimes I'll see you go by me, and I find somebody interesting, and we start talking, and I'm like, do you mind sharing that? And so I've been recording these things. So we're going to take a break from the from us talking in the podcast, and we're going to shift over to some interesting things that people here at Tech Show had to say. And then after you listen to this for a little bit, Brett and I will be right back with our tips of the week.
Hey, I'm Bob Ambrogi. I write a blog called Lawsites. I have a podcast called LawNext, and I also run the Startup Alley here at ABA Tech Show, which we are at the morning after right now, which is maybe why I'm a little raspy as we talk. But last night was the 10th annual Startup Alley. This is a competition where startups, legal tech startups, come in and pitch, and the audience gets to vote. I thought it was a really interesting year for it. A couple of trends, but actually the one that won was a company called Callbox, which is focused on helping lawyers get paid, which I think tells you something about maybe the state of what lawyers need out of technology. And another one was a product that helped lawyers get things done within their inboxes. And I thought that was use AI to kind of manage tasks right out of their email inboxes. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Seems like almost everybody was doing something with AI last night. That was definitely a theme, huh?
Definitely a theme. I mean, and that's been true for the last couple of years. But that was the highlight for me so far. But we're only in really the first full day of Tech Show as we talk.
Thanks so much.
Hey, good morning. I'm Seton Hengesbach. I'm an attorney out of Tampa, Florida. I'm here at my first ABA Tech Show. I'm here to learn a lot about AI, specifically document automation. Got a real interest in finding out ways that we can streamline the production of documents, legal documents in the office, to get away from the manual input and those sorts of things. So really interested in learning about that, and some other new and exciting technologies are going to come out of the Tech Show today.
Hi, I'm Joshua Lenon. I'm an attorney admitted into New York. I'm the lawyer in residence at Clio, and I'm on our legal innovation team helping build out legal AI. One of the really interesting use cases that I'm seeing our customers do is they're actually using AI as a training tool. So as they bring in new associates, these new associates are actually teaching themselves different types of law and different types of procedures by using artificial intelligence. They'll ask our Clio work tool to sum up a procedure or to draft a template that they can then add to. And what that's doing is it's actually upskilling them to have new areas of law and increased competence across a wider area of practice. And it's freeing up the managing partners of the law firm to where they're not having to be there holding hands with every question. So it increases productivity, it increases skills, it increases the services that they're able to offer, and that's why I'm really enjoying working in legal AI right now.
Joshua, you just gave a really interesting presentation, and one of the things that you mentioned is you're seeing that because of AI, some lawyers are actually increasing their rates. Tell us about that.
Yes, it's a part of our 2025 Legal Trends Report. It's a report that we publish every year. It's built on big data analysis of users of the Clio suite of software. And one of the things that we did was we looked at where average hourly rates are going. And of course, we're seeing them increase over time. It's almost always 4% every year. But when we started talking to firms that were really using AI, we could see like high use case in those anonymized aggregated stats. We saw that there was a correlation between two things. The first of which was they were telling us they were having trouble meeting their billable hour targets. They were just being so efficient, they weren't recording as many hours as they used to on a task. And the second was a reaction to that. That's they're increasing their hourly rates. So if I can't bill 3 hours at $500 an hour, well, maybe I can bill 1 hour at $1,000 an hour. And so we're seeing AI enabling actually increases in hourly fees and increases in revenue, but decreasing the amount of hours being billed. And that's a very interesting trend that we're going to be following much further into the future in our next Legal Trends Report.
Great stuff. Thanks, Joshua. Appreciate it.
Always the best, Jeff.
Hi, my name's Alan Klevan. I'm a practicing attorney in Massachusetts. I joined the American Bar Association over 20 years ago.
Wow.
Went to TECHSHOW for my first time in 2005. I was completely fascinated by this thing called the cloud in 2008. I've been to almost every TECHSHOW since, and you know, I've made a second family here at TECHSHOW. I actually consider every member of the law practice division a friend. As they say, there's no such thing as a stranger, just a friend you haven't met. As chair of the Legal Technology Resource Center, I would like to say and actually piggyback on what Jordan Furlong said at his keynote.
Great keynote this morning.
And it was an amazing keynote, that we should be concerned about the evolution of AI and legal tech. And while AI is morphing rapidly, I think that we should probably address it slowly to make sure that we are practicing by the attorney-client privilege, the work product doctrine, and also I think that it's incumbent on us as attorneys to tell our clients about their use of artificial intelligence while they have a case going on. So if that's my tip, I hope that you all take it to heart. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Alan.
Hi, I'm Shawn Holahan with the ABA TECHSHOW Planning Board. If you didn't hear Jordan Furlong's keynote this morning, I'm so sorry you didn't, but here it is. Jordan Furlong said, don't worry, lawyer, that AI is going to replace you. It's not. We're human, and AI is not. And that gap is going to be served by us lawyers because AI cannot do what we can do.
I hope that that's true, but Shawn, it's certainly changing everything that we do. You have to agree with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But fear not. We're still human, and AI is still not.
I'm Kevin O'Keefe. I'm a lawyer of about 40-some years, but I've been working in the digital space and legal tech for about 30-some years. Most around trying to help people through the dissemination of information from lawyers, and always trying to do something new.
You've been involved in getting lawyers on the internet for longer than anybody else that I know, frankly.
Yeah, since the late 90s. And we were just talking about it, getting lawyers to participate in AOL to be able to respond to answers so that people could have access to good legal information.
We've come a long way for AOL, that's for sure. What do you see as some of the hot things people are talking about this year?
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that lawyers are doing on the internet to grab attention. It's a lot worse than AOL.
What are you excited to hear people talk about at this year's TECHSHOW?
Jordan Furlong gave a real nice talk, and it's centered on our obligation to society, and then being at a movie showing last night with Paladin, the same thing. So I think as lawyers, people get really focused on how much money am I making, these type of things that are very personal centric, and what they may have lost sight about is that the reason you grew up and become a lawyer is to help other people, and now with technology that makes that possible, but I don't know that most lawyers think of it as that. But no, I think the show is good.
Very important. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
My name is Davide Cugini, and I've got a real estate firm in Columbus, Ohio. I enjoy going to TECHSHOW because I enjoy seeing what the latest tools are that make my firm efficient and allow me to grow my firm. I specifically went looking for a solution for intaking clients, and I was able to get a recommendation that I found out also is an integration with my current practice management software. I was able to get a demo on the spot, and I'm really looking forward to putting that in place.
That sounds good. Do you want to say the company name, or you want to keep it quiet?
Sure, it was LawNext, and I was really impressed, and I think it's going to be really good for the firm, and I'm just continually looking to see what I can do, again, to kind of take my firm further to the next level and improve processes, and so I'm glad I found them. So.
I'm Paul Lawless from Bowling Green, Kentucky. For about 6 months or so, I've been using a device called Plaud, P-L-A-U-D, and it is simply a recording device about the size of your thumb. And I simply set it down in the middle of the table, tell everybody I'm just recording the deposition, no different than the court reporter is. Not had any objections with working with various attorneys on the other side. And I take that back, and rather than feverishly take notes through the deposition, I listen, and I take notes on what I need to go back and cross on, but the best part is I go back and I can upload it to their software. It will generate a document for me, a transcript, if you will, and then I act like an attorney. Draft me a letter telling about the highs and lows of the deposition.
And it will summarize the deposition.
It'll summarize the
AI.
deposition. Yeah, and again, it's like anything. You got to tweak it, so forth. But I find it's saving me time, and again, more importantly, allowing me to listen to the deposition to make sure I catch everything that's important.
Go for it.
Pardue. I practice in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I'm a litigator. Like Paul said, we came here looking for an AI option in our practice. We have a multifaceted practice with lawyers that practice across all areas, and we've enjoyed it so far and looking forward to tomorrow.
Hey, I'm Jim Nieset. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm a litigator. We're Porteus, Hainkel, and Johnson. I came to TECHSHOW. This is my first attendance. I came looking for document management software, and I will leave with a couple of good leads from that, but more importantly, a bunch of good tips from people I met walking around today about how they use software that I use and software that I don't use in their practices. So I think that will help me help the firm get a lot more efficient. Maybe spend some money. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Patrick Wright, one of the co-chairs for ABA TECHSHOW 2026, and here's my tip if you're not here. Scribe.ai, depositions using AI, almost half the cost, 2-hour turnaround. Highly recommend you use it.
Carl.
Scribe AI.
My name is Mike Dunham. I am a solo litigator right outside Atlanta. This is my 8th TECHSHOW in 24 years.
That's a lot, wow.
And yeah, it's been interesting to watch everything kind of evolve over time, and I remember what was hot 20 years ago versus what's hot now. I talked to a vendor that did not offer AI, and I'm not sure how they got in the room. Where else can you go where you have a session about podcasting, and then you have a session about how to use Word more effectively, and then you have a session about how AI is going to take over the world, and maybe that's a good thing and maybe it's not, and how to make it a good thing, all in one day. And we still got another day and a half to go. So it's been a great time, and it's always good to see friends when you come several years in a row, and that's been one of the best parts also.
Hi, I'm Bill Vance. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Adams & Reese, and very happy. This is my 5th tech show, and very excited to see how all the lawyers are using different tech, from solo practitioners to large firms. It's amazing to see how the tech works.
Hey everybody, I'm Mitch Zoll. I'm an Austin-based attorney doing business law here at TECHSHOW. Luckily to present in 2 sessions today, but we're here at the Taste of TECHSHOW meeting a bunch of folks that have been here for years before me and some folks who are new. They asked us to give us a tip, and I wanted to share one with you that I thought was great from Patrick at Estate Scribe. He said he actually coined the phrase, but he said it's about the labor, not the lawyer. So when you're looking for your new tech tool, your new product that you're trying to put in place, it's not about replacing the lawyer, it's about replacing the labor that the firm is doing that's taking the lawyer away from the job. So it's a great opportunity to come up to TECHSHOW. We hope you join us next year. We'd love for you to join us at Taste of TECHSHOW. Patrick and Brett have done a fantastic job as chairs of this year's TECHSHOW. It really is flawless, but we'd love to have you here next year where our next chairs are coming up. You'll find this to be the place you want to be to learn about all things legal tech that can help you and your firm. We look forward to having you here next year.
It's okay, we'll cut this out later.
We'll edit it all in post.
My name is Mark Unger. I'm an attorney in San Antonio, solo mediator, consultant, and I'm here at ABA TECHSHOW. This is probably my 15th or 20th. I don't know. I'll defer to Brett Burney on that. And I'm here to launch my legal tech AI product called Tiramisu.
Well, welcome back. Thanks again for doing all the interviews, Jeff. I thought that was just really cool that we went around, got to talk to some other people. We had a number of special guests.
Many special guests. The most guests we've ever had.
Let's do In the Know real quick.
In the Know.
We got a couple of things. You got a great tip from a session that you attended today, and I'm going to share one of the tips that I have. So at the end of this conference, we usually have a 60 tips in 60 minutes session. It's like the closer, but we have 4 people up and we just do it kind of a quick hits on there. Well, one of the tips that I was going to share is the GAN chargers that we've talked about many times, and I have an Anchor charger that I got, but I just picked up a 12 South plug bug. So this is the plug bug, which is really cool. You can see it's, I mean, first of all, I just love having a product called the plug bug, which I think is cool. 12 South, very nicely designed. You can just tell it's real simple on this. So it's not a battery pack. So you plug it in. So you can see that it's just really nice. It's really compact in the way it does, but I can flip that down, plug this in, and then in the bottom on this one now, I got the version that has 4 USB-C ports in the bottom. Now you can get one that only has 2, but I found a good price on this at Amazon, and I wanted to get the 4 because depending on how many you use, if you only use one, it's 120 watts.
So more than enough for your MacBook Pro, great.
But now if you plug in multiple, that usually goes down. I think it goes to like 60 or something like that. Still plenty enough to keep everything, charging. It's just maybe not quite as fast on this.
So you can charge up to 4 devices at once.
Correct.
And you get more power on just if you
as
just
long
one.
as if you just have the one, it delivers a full 120. But if you have 2, it kind of goes down and kind of separates it out but it does get just a little tiny bit warm, but because it has GAN technology in it, it's not hot. Like, it's fine. I was able to rip it out this morning after charging everything and put it right in my bag, and I didn't have any issue with it. And then the marquee feature of this one is that this is the plug bug with Find My built in. So I know it sounds a little crazy. It's like, why would you need? But this. It's like $100 if you get it in full price. I found it for about half price, so that's why I picked it up, because I've been wanting this. I wasn't normally going to buy it at $100, but it actually has in the back here, it looks like it should be a battery pack. It has a CR2032 battery.
Just like an AirTag.
Just like an AirTag, exactly. So you have to put that in, so you might have to replace that. There's the little plugs that you do. And then you've got a little button here that you tap that to turn it on. Once it's on, and then you can go in your phone and you can add it to the Find My app. So not only do I have, in the Find My app, you have devices, right? You have people, first of all, you have devices, and then you have items, which is where you would find if you had your AirTags on there. But you can see I've named it the BB plug bug here, and it's right here with me because I can track this now. And it actually worked out well because on Wednesday, when we first got here, I was in the main expo hall. I had pulled it out. I was charging my laptop because I was doing something, but then I had to run out to another room, and I just picked up my laptop, and I forgot that I left this in the main hall, Jeff. And so as soon as I walked out, I got the Find My notification on my watch that I had left it in the main, and I'm like, right there, it paid for itself.
Which is how it should work. Exactly.
So this is the 12 South plug bug, and they've had these out for a while. I don't know that they've always had the Find My, but the fact that it has that in there is just kind of another layer of coolness.
That's a cool.
I don't know how often I would leave this somewhere, other than the fact that it just happened 2 days ago.
Yeah, I love the fact. I mean, AirTags are so useful, but I love that Apple has opened it out because Apple's not going to make that. But
exactly.
let a third party make it.
Absolutely.
And Apple's not going to make, in my wallet, I've got one of those, we've talked about it a long time ago, but one of those, I think it's the Eufy card.
Yes,
that's, super flat.
Yes.
And, Apple's not going to necessarily make something super flat like this, but Eufy will. And I bought it, and I stick it in my wallet. And if I ever leave my wallet at a restaurant or something like that, much like you, I will get the alert of, whoa, your wallet is normally with me. And it's not there, so very,
remember,
very cool.
Just real quick, I remember when they first came out with the fact that it had the Find My, and you could add some additional. We a little bit had some doubts on whether or not that they would open this up to other developers, and I feel like that they've done a pretty good job.
It works great.
On that.
It's really good.
And I just appreciate the fact that we have other devices that will use the Find My, and I'm like, I just keep them coming. And now I have a plug bug with Find My in it.
There you go. Good tip. So my tip of the week, while you were running the show today, I was on the expo floor talking to people, talking to vendors, but I also went to a number of sessions. I think I went to sessions for every time.
Okay.
And I mean, they were all great. Every session I went to today was really good, but I'm gonna highlight one of them. There was, I am the chair of our technology committee at our firm, which means I'm always concerned about, number one, I'm always wanting to help our attorneys and staff use technology to its fullest.
Right.
but I'm also concerned about falling into the traps of technology. And so I went to a security session that was by David Reese, who's just an incredibly, he knows everything about security. David and I have presented together at TECHSHOW, and Mark Caligas. But the tips I'm going to share today came from David when he was talking about security. One of the things that law firms and all companies face today is, people trying to get you, the bad guys are trying to trick you, right?
Yes.
You've got the phishing emails, which just generally go to everybody pretending like it's Google or Microsoft. You've got the spear phishing, which are the dangerous ones because they're targeting your specific firm or your specific people. He used the term today I had never heard, elephanting, which is targeting the high up people in your organizations. Whaling. That's what it was. It's the whales of your organization. Targeting your CEO or something like that. But he went through
whale fishing.
slides after slides of tips, but there was 2 of them today that really jumped out at me. And this is stuff that we know, but it was good to hear it reinforced, and it's something that I'm going to bring back to my law firm, and it's a tip for everybody. He reminded you that when you get an email, to pause and think, is it unexpected? Because so many times these phishing, spear phishing, whatever emails, it'll claim to be, I'm sending you a file, click this to download the file, and you're like, I didn't know that person was going to send me a file. And you're like, well, I guess they could have.
That's your first clue.
But you don't know because the bad guys out of their system and made it look like it's coming from the person that you know with this other law firm, but it's not really them. Or maybe it's something else, it's an emergency thing, or somebody pretends to be the leader of your organization saying, I desperately need your help. I'm like, well, it wasn't what I was expecting. And sometimes those happen in real life, but it's good advice that if it's non-expected, you need to teach the folks and yourself pause and think about it.
It gives you pause, that's right.
And I thought that was really good advice. And then the other advice that he had, and this is really in the context of some of the financial frauds, which I have seen so many times. We've skirted around this issue at my firm, so we haven't been hit, fortunately. And I've had cases as a lawyer where I've been hired to be involved where, and you know what I'm going to say, it's the issue where someone has to pay something, and then the bad guys come in, somehow they're in an email system, and they say, oh, here's the wire instructions. But the wire instructions are not going to the real person, it's going to the bad guys, and once they get your money, if they're out of the country, you're out of, and so his thing was, especially in those financial things, verify important things, whether it's financial or something in email, verify it in a method that is independent and that you can independently verify yourself. So for example, people might say, oh, well, I got an email and I replied to the email and they said, oh yes, this is a real email. But I mean, of course they're going to say that because they're the bad guys, right? So don't use the same way that they communicate with them. What you do is pick up the phone, and if the email says, here's our phone number, call us. Don't trust that either. But if you independently know who the person is in your own contacts list, pick up your phone and call the number that you previously had verified and say, is this really you? And if it is, great. They really do want me to do. My CEO really does want me to buy iTunes gift cards and send it to him, whatever it is. But I'm not going to do that anyway. But if not, so many things can be caught if you just use an independent way. So those are just 2 of they had like a million tips. And if you do this, if you tell other people in your organization, tell your clients to do this, you will stop the bad guys so many of the times. So I just thought those were good tips. And
well, you should say the name of the session.
Yeah, what was the name of it? The name of the session was Training Your Smart People to Stop Falling for Dumb Scams. What a great name. Because that's what it is.
It was good because we knew David was going to do a good job.
We have smart people, but sometimes you can fall for dumb scams. And I know why it happens. Because we're busy, you're under the gun, you're going from this and you're that, and something comes in and you think it's real and you're trying to just do the right thing. And you don't pause and think and was this a surprise? Can I verify it? And you can prevent disaster to your organization just by doing those things. So I thought those were great tips.
You just almost have to be nonstop and just bringing it up and reinforcing it and discussing it and making sure people are aware. Otherwise, I don't know how else to do it because all it's going to take sometimes is just one click. And I know that keeps you up at night sometimes too because there's a lot of people that kind of fall for that, and we hear some of the stories on there. So, okay, this has been great. I'm glad that we got together just for a few minutes to talk through this. I'm so excited that we had all of the interviews and people that we were able to talk to. We had a dinner with a lot of the folks, even some of our listeners, so thank you. Jim and Bill was there, and Maybe we got some new listeners tonight, and that would be fantastic. It's just a lot of fun to always come to Tech Show. Thanks for doing this, Jeff, and we'll talk with you next week, right? When we get back home after all of this. Hopefully the airports, we'll check Flighty, make sure we can get there in just time. We'll get to TSA in plenty of time. It'll be good. But thanks again, Jeff. We'll talk with you next week.
Thanks, Brett. Bye-bye, everybody.